I'm sorry, ESPN, Jeremy Fowler, and the scouts, coaches, and league execs said, what about Sauce Gardner? Son of a...
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Woo! My engine is already revving, baby. For those who don't know, I've been up since 4 a.m. this morning, and I've gotten a lot done in my life, which is very important. But I'll tell you, I just wrapped up moments ago with WGR 550 in Buffalo. I was on the radio with my boy Sal Capaccio and Nate, which was awesome. I just did 25 plus minutes with them on Jets training camp and all their questions about the New York Jets over there in Buffalo Bills land. And then as soon as that wrapped up, I went, yep, thanks for having me on the show. Boop. And then I looked up and said, a minute left until you're on for Boy Green Daily. And I said, great. So we are fired up, baby. And thank you guys so much for joining us here. And shout out again to Connor Rogers. Hopefully you guys got a chance to check out that interview yesterday on Boy Green Daily. If you did not, the Connor Rogers interview separate, just me and Connor speaking, is in the video section on YouTube. If you guys would like to check that out as well, if you haven't, make sure you guys like the video. Hit subscribe, baby. I am Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. Now, I wanted to talk about this yesterday, but again, I committed to Connor. We had to do the Connor Rogers interview. It was spectacular, but the Jeremy Fowler ESPN rankings came out on the cornerbacks, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't think we were going to have much of a conversation about it. That because Jeremy Fowler, when he released his first ranking, and for those who don't know, let me not assume. You know what they say about people who assume. He is an ESPN guy, and over the last 5 years, he's done a top 10 ranking at a lot of the key positions in the NFL: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, you name it, he's done it. But the rankings that come out are based on a voting process that he does with over 80 league executives, scouts, coaches. Basically, it's supposed to be people in the know, which gives us as Jet fans and fans of the NFL like, oh, okay, so this is what they think. Not what fans think, not what some of these media people think, but what they think inside the league. So in theory, it should have all kinds of wonderful insight, which, by the way, I have an article about some of the things I'm about to be very angry about in the YouTube description down below. So click and follow along if you'd like. So when Jeremy Fowler announced he was doing this for the 5th year in a row, he put out the schedule like, hey, on Tuesday, it's going to be quarterbacks. On Wednesday, it's going to be running backs, blah, 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 blah. And I saw at the very end, I said, oh, cornerbacks. That's the last day of his previews that's coming out. I'm like, oh, well, that one will be easy because Sauce Gardner is obviously the number one corner in football. At worst, he will be 2 on that list. So phenomenal. Okay. You know, I guess we could come on the show and talk about it like, Jeremy Fowler got it exactly correct. I guess we could have done a show about that. That would have been less exciting. But not only was Sauce Gardner not number 1, not number 2, he was rated number 3. And okay, you put him at 3. Number 1 was PS2, Patrick Surtain II. I think that's bogus, quite frankly, because we'll get into the numbers in just a second, and it makes absolutely no sense that he's number 1. But okay, if you want to make an argument, that makes sense. And then number 2 is Denzel Ward of the Cleveland Browns. Again, PS2 of the Denver Broncos. You're like, okay, I guess. And then he goes to number 3 on the list. But that's not even where you have the problem. You can have the problem with that, which, again, I think that's too low. I think 3 is too low. He should have been higher. But the real problem was what the people were saying inside. So with each ranking, there's quotes, anonymous, obviously, of course. They're anonymous quotes about the players to give us some sort of an insight. And as I saw Sauce was at number 3, I was like, what? And I read the little quips, and I'm like, huh? What the hell? Here are some of the things the people said. These are high-ranking officials, and I will tell you where the anonymous quotes come from. Let's go to this. This a high-ranking NFL personnel evaluator told this to Jeremy Fowler. Sauce Gardner is, quote, one of the most overrated players in the league. You could call holding on him on every play, end quote. Is this a Miami Dolphins fan? What the hell? One of the most overrated players in the league. Interesting. Here's from Jeremy Fowler. Gardner, how about this? Gardner gathered fewer top votes to be the number one corner in football. Because again, everyone is polled, right? He garnered fewer votes in this ranking this offseason than he did as a rookie. How does that make sense? Because Sauce Gardner, here is the list of corners that have been a first-team All-Pro through their first 2 years. It's Sauce Gardner, and then that's the list. One guy on the list. Sauce Gardner is the first-team All-Pro as a rookie defensive back since Ronnie Lott back in 1981. Yeah, that guy was pretty good. Pro Football Hall of Famer of the San Francisco 49ers. What in the name of everything that's holy? So, him being 3 is insulting. Hearing that overrated stat, that's also pretty insulting. But here's the thing that really just sent me over the edge. This is the thing that pissed me off the most. That garbage about Gardner being the PI merchant and handsy and things of that nature. Here's what Jeremy Fowler said. A quote, a few established personnel executives left Sauce Gardner off the top 10 altogether. Now, that is just bullshit. Okay. You don't want to put him number 1. Okay. You don't want to put him number 2. Okay. You want to put him 3. All right. I got a problem with it, but I don't have a massive problem with it. That's fine. But some NFL people that work in the NFL didn't have Sauce Gardner as a top 10 corner. Stop it. Come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? That's friggin' stupid. Ridiculous. Oh, it's just, that's where I got a problem. You don't even put him in the top 10? What are we smoking? What are we doing, man? Not even in the top 10. Ugh. That's terrible. You should be fired. And boy, don't anonymous people love saying stupid shit. I normally don't try to swear or curse on this show, but come on, man. People that can hide behind an anonymous name love to say ridiculous crap because they don't have to be held accountable. Jeremy Fowler, he won't do this because he has sources and trust built with his sources, but he should out that person and let us know who the hell that is so we can stone them and throw rocks at them because that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And apparently it's not one person. It is multiple people. Multiple established personnel executives left Sauce Gardner off the top 10 list altogether. And here's this, okay? So on each player, it says the player's name, the team they play for, the highest ranking. So some of the 80 people that he talked to, which again, these 80 people are scouts, coaches, or league executives. It's a combination of those people. Some of those people had Sauce as the number 1 corner in football. Doy, obviously, that's well said. He should be. But some people didn't even have him ranked, and that means not in the top 10. That means not in the honorable mention. That means not in the others receiving votes. They just left him off completely. That's stupid. That's dumb. That's idiotic. That's just hate. That's bias. No matter what way you slice it, Sauce Gardner is easily a top 10 corner in football and slam dunk a top 5 corner in football. And again, he has the analytics and the numbers to back himself up as the number 1 corner in football. So one of the criticisms of Sauce Gardner, one of the legitimate criticisms of Sauce Gardner is he doesn't have a lot of takeaways. He has 2 interceptions in his first 2 seasons, and both of which came in his rookie year. That's a legitimate criticism of Sauce. He doesn't have a lot of turnovers. And he's had opportunities, and he's dropped them. Again, I say this all the time, the Week 2 Jets-Cowboys game last year, Sauce Gardner dropped a pick 6. The Cowboys scored 8 points on that drive, and that completely flipped the game. They scored a touchdown and a two-point conversion. So the fact of the matter is that he does not have a lot of turnovers, and that's true. But also, you have to provide context, because context is important. Gardner was only targeted 57 times last year, which means he didn't have a lot of chances to catch picks. He allowed 366 yards and 2 touchdowns. In those 2 years, he has 31 pass breakups and only 2 touchdowns allowed. How about that? In 2 years, he's given up a touchdown a year, according to ESPN. 2 in 2 years. That's pretty good. But the other thing that I'd like to say is, so Gardner, again, let me read you his stat, was targeted 57 times and allowed 366 yards and 2 touchdowns. Let's scroll up to the number 1 corner on this list, Pat Surtain II, more commonly known as PS2. Here's what PS2 allowed last season: 58 catches, 790 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 pick on 90 targets. So he was targeted nearly double the amount Sauce was, and he allowed a 102.5 QBR for opposing quarterbacks. Not good. So PS2 gave up 4 touchdowns last year. Sauce, in his entire career, has only given up 2. PS2 4 last year. Sauce Gardner 2 over 2 years. How in God's green earth is he above Sauce Gardner? Honestly, that's an open question for anyone to answer, including any of these anonymous ESPN dweebs. Are you freaking kidding me, man? PS2 gets there after that season. And then there are apparently people fighting for PS2 saying, well, he played in some zones and maybe it wasn't his responsibility. And hey, he played in a lot of coverage snap, which was 535. And NFL coordinator said, quote, he didn't have his best year, but he's still the best pure talent. He moves the best. You could do the most with him as far as coverage. So if I'm starting a team, I'm probably picking him. That isn't the prerequisites for voting. The voting, as Jeremy Fowler lays out in the intro, is not supposed to be a 5-year projection, and it's not supposed to be a lifetime achievement award. The rankings that they release every year are supposed to judge who is the best in the NFL at that moment in time. And there is a coordinator that apparently voted very highly for PS2 that said, well, it wasn't his best year, but I love the player, built on a lab table, all that crap. That goes against the very rules of the game. The game says you can't project. It's right now. Right now, he did not have a great year. He gave up 4 touchdowns. Sauce Gardner has given up 2 in 2 years. Yet he's number 1 over Sauce. That's interesting. That's interesting. Then we go to Denzel Ward, who last year was the number 9th ranked corner in these same rankings. Sauce was 2, and he leapfrogged Sauce, taking the number 2 spot. Interesting. And so on 63 targets, Ward allowed 31 catches for 290 yards. He did not allow a touchdown last season. Impressive. And he has 2 interceptions last season. So his numbers are up from that perspective. But another number that is worth bringing up here for Denzel Ward, who, by the way, I think PS2 and Denzel Ward are just dandy. They're just dandy as corners. They're just fine. I'm not trying to insult these players to say they suck, but as I look at Denzel Ward, he only played in 13 games last year. He only started in 11 of the 17 games. That's interesting. Very interesting. That Sauce Gardner, on the other hand, as we pull up Sauce's stats, he appeared in 16 of the 17 games. So Sauce started in 5 more games last season than Denzel Ward. So it's interesting. So PS2 gave up 4 touchdowns last season and admittingly to some of the voters didn't have a great year. We go to Denzel Ward, who missed a large portion of the season. Sauce Gardner misses 1 game, has better analytics, and he's 3rd. I'm missing something. Unbelievable. But the Sauce hate continues. If you're a Jets fan, this should be great news. A chip on the shoulder, as I'm sure a lot of you callers will attest. Say, great. Now Sauce has even more motivation. You would think, oh, wow, it's hard to overlook Sauce. Apparently not. Apparently not. That's interesting, worth saying. Also, another criticism of Sauce, a legitimate criticism perhaps to some, is Sauce only plays one side of the field. Very rarely does he travel. His first game ever I was at with me, my beautiful fiance, and my daughter, which let me play this. I don't get to play this often anymore, but where's that video? Oh, yeah, here it is. Wow. Which also shout out to Gator for my brand new intro. I absolutely love it. He included my daughter. I didn't even ask him to, and he did. So, Gator, that meant a lot. Wow. Wow, is probably what she was saying during the game. It was me, my fiance, and myself watching the Jets Ravens. It was Sauce Gardner's first game as an NFL professional. He shadowed Mark Andrews. Yeah, he's pretty good. No, not a wide receiver. He's a tight end. He's a tight end. He did pretty damn good. Lost in the sauce was the graphic that was floating around on social media. But he didn't do it often in his first 2 years where he shadowed exclusively. Yeah, it happened a few times on a couple of ops. But for the most part, he stayed on his side. And some people have criticized him saying, system corner, this or that. Well, this year, apparently, Sauce is going to travel a lot more. That he is. Salas says it. Sauce has said it. Again, it won't be exclusively. He won't be Darrelle Revis as far as we know, where he's traveling exclusively every game following the opponent's number one wide receiver. But apparently he's supposed to do it. I don't know how many reps. I can't say often. I can't say never. It says it's going to happen, but I'll be kind of curious. I'll be kind of curious to see. So that should shut up some haters. Not all. You'll never shut them all up. That should shut up some more. If Sauce starts to travel this year and has similar production that he's had, you might just say that old Sauce Gardner can rise up those rankings. But ridiculous, as they are. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. I was just in shock. The Quincy Williams one was another one where I'm in shock. How is this guy not in the top 10? Sauce, quote-unquote, one of the most overrated players in football, and some did not have him in the top 10. I don't know how else you could come to that conclusion without bias. The production is there. The requisite accolades are there. We're not talking about Pro Bowls. We're talking about all pros. There's no alternates. It's all pros. That's the greatest individual honor you can receive outside of things like MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and things of that nature. Interesting. So I had to get all that off my chest. I mentioned it at the end of the show yesterday, and someone said, like, let the hate, the Sith Lord is behind me. Yes, let the hate breed. Yes. I was ready to scream at the top of my lungs yesterday. This time I feel like I've been more reserved, which is probably better for all your ear holes who watch or listen to the show. Quite frankly, it's probably better for you guys. That I did not scream my head off. Also, before we open up the phone lines, which I'm about to do here in just a moment, also it is worth noting that the Jets, shout out to Rich Cimini, the New York Jets play three players on the PUP list. They can be activated at any time. Wide receiver Mike Williams, fullback Nick Bodden, and rookie defensive tackle Leonard Taylor III were all placed on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list. Again, they can be activated at any time. Again, Mike Williams is on the timeline of Breece Hall, should be activated mid-August. It's unclear what's going to be going on with Bodden or Taylor. We are unaware of that. But those three players and the rest of the rookies reported to Jets training camp yesterday, which is nice. And on the 23rd, the rest of the players report. And the first practice is 24th, baby. So I'm looking forward to it. The Jets also placed on the non-football injury list quarterback Jordan Travis and wide receiver Tyler Harrell. If you have pre-existing injuries from college and things of that nature, like Jeremy Ruckert had that foot issue, plantar fasciitis coming in after, once they drafted him, that's the list that they end up with there, which is the NFI list, just for proper action there. Oh, baby. We got two things here to shout out. First off, let's go to Tio, who has changed his name to 411 on New York Sports, a member for 1 month. Salute. Thank you, Tio. I appreciate you so much, pal. It's awesome to have the memberships have exploded. Your guys' commitment to me has exploded, and it means a lot. So let's give you one of these. Damn straight, baby. And we have another reason to celebrate for old Tio there. What about a new member to the Boy Green Coffee Club? Hit those chimes, baby. A little off. Let me retune that. New member to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Let's say congratulations and welcome to Ron P., a new member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. We had Jake Asman, by the way, on the show yesterday, and we had a surge. We had like 15 memberships out of nowhere is beautiful. So thank you for all those. Everyone who jumped in on the action with my Jake Asman show with Boy Green Meets Woody. That was spectacular. So thank you, everyone. All the memberships are welcome. And again, something else we're working on behind the scenes, and we should be adding you guys soon, is a Discord, which will be an additional perk to the coffee club. I'm not increasing the price. It's going to be the same $2.99, and we're just adding more perks to it. More emojis are coming, obviously, as we continue to add those as well. So more emojis and more perks are just coming to the standard. I don't have multiple level membership. It's just one membership, $2.99 as it currently stands. If things change in the future, I'll let you guys know on that. But $2.99. So appreciate you per month. It's a cup of coffee. That's how you can support the program. All right, let's drop in the call-in line so you guys can join the show. Thank you to Uncle Tio for giving, the family atmosphere. Very nice. Let's see. Call into the show here. If you're watching on any of the other features, you have to hop on over to YouTube to do that. So call into the show. Here we are. That message is now in there, and I am pinning that to the top of the chat. If you'd like to call into today's show, feel free to do so. Also, a couple of nuggets while we're waiting for callers to come in. Number one. I just want to give you guys a quick shout out. Played College Football 25, the video game this morning. Got up at like 4 a.m. I had a lot of stuff to do, but I got to play one game of College Football 25, and it was fun. So looking forward to playing that a little bit more often. So shout out there. Also, BMAC, his hat was delivered. Well, not delivered, but I purchased it this morning. So shout out to Brandon and Tio. BMAC has a Jets hat heading his way. Thanks to you guys and for everyone for stepping up to the plate for that. BMAC has a Jets hat that will be delivered to him shortly, and hopefully we can retire and sing like the Hunger Games for BMAC's Yankees hat. Let's ditch that. Let's get rid of that. So Jets hat is going to be on the way very shortly here to BMAC. The hat purchase is in. It's up to the NFL gods now to send that hat to BMAC and get it to his house. So thank you guys for that as well. All right, let's jump on over to the phone lodge. We've got my boy EZ here on the show. What's up, EZ? Good morning.
Morning. Oh, just chilling out in bed.
Okay, there you go. Nice. I appreciate the bedroom. The bedroom feel. Like the vibes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Brick? Wow. What a house.
That's just a tapestry.
Oh, I was about to say, wow, brick in there. That's nice. Okay.
But it is kind of cool.
It is. It's a nice aesthetic. I'm a fan.
It was like $10 and I didn't have to paint the friggin' wall.
Man, you play smarter, not harder. I gotta take a look at that and see if I can incorporate that somewhere in my house. I like the brick; it's very nice.
Yeah, I have one in my living room too, and then I have my amplifier in front of it. It makes it look like a fireplace.
See, without paying the the fireplace prices. Excellent.
Yeah, take a look. See?
Oh wow, there you go. Oh, look at that. That looks spectacular.
Yep.
I love that. Thanks for the MTV Cribs tour here. This is great.
Yeah. I paused the Matrix for a while.
Okay. There you go.
Anyway, that's what happens when it rains and you drive a dump truck. They don't work in the mud too well. So
yeah.
I've only worked like 3 days the past 3 weeks.
Wow.
3 days this week, 3 days last week, 3 days the week before.
Mm-hmm.
God, I hope it dries out.
Yeah, me too. For you. Absolutely.
Yeah, because when the Corvette's done, I got to drop $2,000 into the painter shop. So
damn, good Lord.
Yeah, well, it's $6,000 paint job on a classic Corvette. So
yeah, well, that's going to look spectacular after the fact, though. What year is it?
It's an '88. The whole interior's redone. Everything's been repaired and fixed. New weather stripping, everything. So
wow, I can't wait to see. You're going to have to show us that puppy later. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to be old on it is the drivetrain, but everything else is like pretty much new.
Wow.
Seat covers are sick. Look my Facebook page. It's insane.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to do that. That sounds spectacular. And then again, like I said, at some point when all that's all finished up and wrapped up, we'll have to get it here on the show. That'll look beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, he didn't crack the top 10, huh?
So
really?
Yeah.
He didn't crack the top 10?
Yeah. So again, they talked to 80 people for this, and with the calculation of everybody, he was 3. but some of the people didn't have him on their top.
I must have missed the first 2 minutes of your show.
No, that's okay. So yeah, so overall, cumulatively, they put him at number 3 on the list, which I think is still low. But there were several people, according to Jeremy Fowler, and it's not just random people like Scrubs. He said they were high-ranking NFL officials. Several of them did not have him in the top 10 at all. Multiple people, and I'm like, that's just
well,
upsetting.
he does need to get some more interceptions. I will give
sure.
them that one thing.
Yeah.
He definitely needs to come down with the ball when he gets his hands on it. He's not a linebacker; he's a cornerback.
Of course.
So,
I agree.
But once he starts covering, man to man on the number one receiver like Revis used to do, his cred will go up.
Yeah, and the opportunities, I would assume. So, again, he had, I think it was 57 targets last season, which is an incredibly low number. That means he's not getting a lot of action during games. But if he's covering the number one guy, that's going to be harder for teams to just say, well, we're just going to avoid Sauce. So you're just going to avoid throwing it to your best player, like Week 5 Vikings, Justin Jefferson. You're just not going to throw it to Justin? Well, that's not going to happen.
So but when he's covering the number 3 receiver on his side, why even bother throwing to the number 3 or number 4 receiver? It's not going to happen.
Right. So that should give him more opportunities to hopefully get interceptions if he does indeed travel as the coach and Sauce have said themselves that's going to happen more this year. That'll increase street cred and also opportunity.
I did see something about Quincy Williams that he's climbing up the charts.
Not well in that ESPN ranking, he wasn't included in the top 10, which is ridiculous. And neither was CJ Mosley. That one to me was also insulting. That one's pretty bad. Yeah.
I think they're age casting CJ Mosley now.
Mm-hmm. That has to be the only reason. But so that could totally be true. But like on Quincy, that one doesn't make any sense. He's young. He was just a first-team All-Pro linebacker. The other first-team All-Pro linebackers were number 1 and number 2 on the list. It was Fred Warner and Roquan Smith. So it makes no sense not to include Quincy at all on the list. That one I don't.
Well, those two guys are great.
Oh, it's spectacular. PFF rated the Jets the number 1 linebacker core in the league. But to your point, Fred Warner, Roquan Smith are nasty. I mean, they're the 2 highest paid linebackers in football for a reason.
Well, the only part of our defense that has any glitch is safety. And if I'm sorry, name is escaping me. Who's the guy that was hurt last year?
Chuck Clark.
If he's as advertised, they're going to skyrocket that position too.
100%. 100%. That's one that I think a lot of people are overlooking. But boy, if Chuck Clark is back to being Chuck Clark, wow, that's going to be a great addition to the defense.
Where exactly is a weakness on our defense? Can you explain any of that to me? Because we were ranked number 1 by PFF.
Yeah.
Which is just.
You've mentioned safety, football. So there's safety. But the only other one, and it's weakness / unknown. So it could be a strength. Who knows? Javon Kinlaw. Who is the guy next to Quentin Williams? Javon Kinlaw, Likey Fotu, Michael Clements playing some interior. That. Who is so we know who will be starting, that it will be Javon Kinlaw next to Quentin based on the money, but how good is he? Is he going to be great? Is he going to be terrible? I don't know.
We don't know. Well, there is one player who I still am not sure about, and when they drafted him and they explained how nasty he was, I thought he was going to be like the next coming of Mean Joe Green, and I'm just not sure about him. Michael Clemens.
Oh yes, yeah, right, yeah. He's a polarizing guy.
He looks scary as all get out.
Yeah,
and he looks as mean as possible. I just don't know if it's translating on the field on performance.
100%.
What is it that he's missing? Is there anything he's missing? Because he's got the nasty. Is he missing some skill sets that he needs to improve on, or is this year 3 and he just makes a jump?
Yeah, so it's either going to be, I think it's do or die from the standpoint that it's either going to be jump and he makes this dramatic leap, or maybe he ends up on the practice squad because there's a lot of young guys that are vying for his position. When you have young guys right on your neck, you're either going to step up to the plate or step down and they're going to take your job. That's Braden McGregor's of the world, Eric Watts, those kind of guys that will be vying for his job. I think one thing that hurts him is the Jets have kind of They wanted him to add weight. They wanted him to lose weight. So it's been kind of herky-jerky through his first couple of years in the league. They need to kind of commit to whatever he is because he's kind of been serving in this JFM-ish role. If that's what he's going to continue to be.
But he's not JFM.
Need more weight. Exactly, right. Yeah, it's like when people say Revis for Sauce and some of those things, although you'd think that's a lot closer than Michael to JFM. So, yeah, it's just difficult. But that's one thing I would say. I think he just said the Jets as a team have to commit to whatever they want him to be.
Yeah, I think they're confusing him, and he doesn't really exactly know what his role is.
Yeah.
They should have just said, you're going to be a defensive end. Just get some strength and quickness and attack.
Yeah. But he's a talented guy, though, so I'm rooting hard for him. I love Michael. I met him last year. He's a really cool person. I'd love for him to take that next step, and I think he's making the roster, but we'll see. I'll probably do a 53-man roster projection next week.
How many are on the practice squad? 17?
16. There's 16 plus your 53-man roster in totality.
Okay, so you go 53 plus 16 times 32.
Yep.
Those are the only people on the planet that are in the NFL. It's like 2,500 people out of everyone that has ever played football. You, me, our buddies, anybody. So, I mean, these guys, even the scrubs on an NFL team are like the 2,500 best on the planet at playing football.
Yep, 2,208 for those counting at home is your number, and those are the elite of the elite in the NFL on the planet Earth. Pretty good.
Yeah, you think from Pee Wee to Pop Warner to JV, junior high to JV to varsity to college, and then, I mean, and that's the other thing with Sauce. Okay. Everyone's expecting Sauce to be this 0 touchdown guy because he gave up 0 touchdowns in college. He's not playing with children anymore. Everyone he plays against is a grown-ass man with the highest possible skill set to make it to the NFL. We're not talking CFL. We're not talking USFL. We're talking the NFL.
True. Yeah, and we'll see. So obviously things have gotten more difficult, as they should have. He went to the NFL level. So I'm really excited, though, to see him travel this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, Easy.
So how many wins do you reasonably think we're going to get this year with a relatively healthy team? Relatively healthy, like normal injury, like most teams get, not the insanity that we've had with the O-line the last couple of years.
With that caveat, 10 to 13 wins. I would be disappointed with anything fewer than 10. I think we could get upwards of 13 if everything breaks right. That's what I think of the regular season. Yes.
Well, at least we have Tyrod. So
that's right. That makes me
improvement.
feel a lot better.
Hey, I heard that Zach's doing really good over in Denver. That'd be a trip if we went against him. At the Denver
I hope he's starting week 4. I hope he's starting. I want to see all the ghosts.
I'm coming for that game.
Yeah, you should. I hope we see Darnold week 5 for the Vikings. I hope we see Zach Wilson week 4. I hope we see Geno, whatever that would be, week 12, week 13, whatever that is after the bye. So 112. Yeah, that'd be week 13. I hope we see him. I want to see all the ghosts of Jets Christmas quarterback past. Bring them on, baby.
All the old NC State quarterbacks in the league.
That's
now
right.
It's going to be all the old Jet quarterbacks in the league.
I love it. Juicy extra storylines for us. I'd love to see it. That'd be spectacular. Well, thanks for the call, Easy.
Well, one quick question.
Yeah, sure.
Jordan Travis, they're going to redshirt him this year, most likely, or put him on the PUP list.
Yeah, right now I believe he's on the, let me make sure, I think it's the NFI list for now because he had that injury in college. So that's a pre-existing injury prior to the draft. So we will see. Again, Salah should speak next week.
PUP?
That's not the PUP. It's different than the PUP. So they could eventually put him on the PUP from the NFI list. It depends what their plan is. So we have to wait to hear from Salah next week on is he going to be ready at any point during training camp? Does he do the training camp preseason and then redshirt? I don't know.
Can they practice, or can they just be there and be a sponge and soak stuff up? I know they can do the sponge part, but
yeah, they might be able to do individual work, but I don't think any teamwork. Yeah.
So he can go on the side and work out with the quarterbacks in private without the coaching staff.
Correct. Yeah. Just kind of on the side, not doing the full team drills. I believe that's what he'll be allowed to do. But like I said, we'll get full clarity on that from Salah next week. But I hope so, because again, it would be a lot of fun to see Jordan Travis again doing preseason action and training camp reps and all that. That'd be a lot of fun. So I hope we see him.
I think the kid's got a lot of talent. I think if he wasn't injured, he'd have been probably a late first-round pick.
Sign me up. That would be great. Man, he has a lot of talent, so I'm looking forward to the dart throw. But yeah, thanks, EZ. Appreciate you, brother.
Take care, Bo.
All right, we'll see you. All right, let's go back to the phone lines immediately. Also, I see people are saying, Paul, I'm adding you on PlayStation like K-Brock and others. Yeah, my PS5 handle is BoyGreen25. So if you want to get these hands in College Football 25 or the next Madden game or anything, feel free. And I'll try to get on when I can, and maybe we're on at the same time or something. But yeah, so feel free. BoyGreen25 is my gamer tag, and we could try to get some college football Madden action. Speaking of college football, let's bring on our boy Brandon. And boy, that game was smooth. I played one game this morning at like 4 or 5 in the morning before a radio call, so that was nice. I can't wait to dive in more, Brandon.
Did you play at Syracuse?
I did. The default game they made when I just said, "Hey, play now." Let me just try to get in a quick game. I don't know if I could dive into Road to Glory or Dynasty or anything like that yet. I'm like, let me just play a game and just get a feel for the game. And I said, I set my favorite team at Syracuse, and then said, "Hey, you want to play West Virginia? That's a rivalry game." I'm like, "Sure, okay." And then I just played a game and I just kind of tried out different stuff. I won very much, so thank you very much. But it was fun. Yeah, man, that game looks so fun, man.
It's cracking me up because I've been reading that if you play like Dynasty or, well, I guess Road to Glory, you know how they'll just make these random FCS teams like FCS or whatever. Apparently, they're like apparently they're really good. Like these teams that are supposed to be like easy beatdowns, they're like beating people 31-0. And
oh, good Lord.
People were complaining.
Wow.
But I didn't have that problem, so I don't know.
Yeah, right. Someone warned me yesterday or so. Again, I got to play more, but they said, Paul, if you play on, I think I'm playing on All-American. That's like the version of All-Pro, like not Heisman. And I tried that out. I'm like, someone said, they warned me, Paul, that's going to be tough. And I'm like, I normally play on the hardest, like, man, I play on the highest difficult, I play on the highest difficulty you can normally. So I said, oh, let me try out the one lower than that on college football, not Heisman. Let me go All-American, I think is what it's called. And I played that and it was fine. I wasn't getting beat. Again, I won the game and I felt like the mistakes I made is because I was trying stuff out. So I said, I don't know. It wasn't that bad for me, but hey, you don't know, I guess, till you get into the thick of it, maybe.
Yeah, that's kind of, it was funny because I got on there and it was just on, I think, freshman, which is the easiest. Mm-hmm. So I played the first game and I was like, holy cow, like this game is easy. Like I was playing as Arkansas State against Arkansas and I was just like dominating them. And I'm like, man, I'm going to be good at this. And then I was like, wait, I'm on freshman. Like, but no, I was gonna say, EZ, he got me thinking earlier when he was talking about his Corvette. Mm-hmm. I was going to tell you how old me and you are. So we had this truck in our family that we got since it was brand new. We bought it in 1994.
Okay.
It was a Chevy Silverado crew cab 1500.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a couple years ago, my dad's had it all these years. He only had like 100,000 miles on it. And he was wanting to get rid of it. I'm like, Dad, this truck's been in our family since I was a year old. I want this thing. So I bought it from him. Well, when I went up to the courthouse, they're like, do you want to get antique tags on this? And I was like, what? And she's like, antique tags. Like this truck's old enough. I'm like, I'm a year older than this truck. Like, so anyway, I took my antique tags. You only have to for them once. So anyway, I was like, I took that deal and ran, but I was like, man, I'm getting old.
Yeah, we're getting old. We're antiques.
We're getting old. But to get on the whole sauce talk,
yeah.
I cannot believe he got third. I mean,
that seems messed up. I don't understand. I don't understand the argument. And then when you read the little excerpts for both corners above, the first one for PS2 says, well, he didn't have a great year last year. And I'm like, all right, that seems weird. And then Denzel Ward said, well, he missed a bunch of games. What the? Where's the? I'm seeing reasons they shouldn't have been above Sauce. Where's the reasons they should be above him? And the reasons were stupid. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess. Yeah.
So Denzel Ward's the one who said that?
Who said what?
I thought you said Denzel Ward said that Sauce missed games or something like that.
Oh, no. I'm saying the ESPN little blurbs, like they write something on each player. On PS2, it said like, some anonymous person said, well, he didn't have a great year. And then under Denzel Ward's, it said, well, he didn't play in a lot of games. And that's what I said. So Sauce is third on the list. And I'm like, well, okay, Denzel Ward of the Browns and PS2 of the Broncos. Why were you above? Let me read your little bios they give you on the ESPN ranking thing. And there was a lot of reasons that they shouldn't have been above Sauce, not reasons for. And I'm like, hey, yeah, it was bad. Not great.
Well, yeah, that's what my buddy, he's a Broncos fan, so I hear all about Patrick Surtain. And he's good. He's good,
yeah.
Denzel Ward's good, but I'm just saying, in this game right now, there's no competition with Sauce. And I might piss some people off with this, but I'm like, a lot of people compare him to Revis, and I think we just need to slow our roll on that. And I'm telling you, Sauce is good. I mean, he's the best right now, but I don't know, just what Revis did in his time, and he came in, shut down whoever the number one receiver was. We were talking about games we'd been to.
Yeah.
I went to the Texans game.
Ooh,
here we went to the AFC Championship. I went to that game. We came back and won with Santonio Holmes. Well, I was also pumped to see Andre Johnson, who's one of my favorite receivers.
He's great.
I didn't see him that whole game. So I was like, well, at least, if all else fails, you try to look at it like, well, if somehow they beat us, I get to see Andre Johnson, who would beat the shit out of Cortland Finnegan.
I love that scene. Yeah.
And so I was looking forward to that. And then I was like, well, Revis just completely erased him. And that's just my thing is, and I know Revis has kind of been a dick here lately, and him with all that Cromartie stuff, but I do feel like he felt probably a little betrayed when Cromartie kind of defended Richard Sherman when they had their little scuffle, because Richard Sherman, he was a good player, but you don't hear people say every day when we're watching running backs run the ball, oh man, he runs like Barry Sanders. Oh, he's like Barry Sanders. Or, oh, he's like Jerry Rice. He's like Jerry Rice. When you're the best at your position, people don't say that every day. They're not like, oh, he plays just like Revis, because no one really does what Revis did in his time. So I do think I'm looking forward to him traveling this year. And I'm definitely not saying that he's not going to be as good as Revis, because heck, his first couple of years, he's looked, I mean, nobody's done some of the stuff that he's done. So anyway, we'll see. But I think I'm really looking forward to seeing him travel. And I definitely hope he proves me wrong. Not that I don't think he's that good, but it's like, I just hate when, as soon as we get a decent player, and it's not just the Jets, any team, they start comparing him to the last great. And I'm like, he was a great for a reason, because he was doing things other people can't do. So let's not replace him the minute we get another guy that's really good. But anyway, that's my 2 cents for the day.
Well, Brandon, I would just say again, thank you. I said it earlier in the show, but thanks for your help with the BMAC hat. So it should be on its way shortly. I can't wait to see BMAC come on the show and get rid of that stupid pinstripe Yankee piece of garbage and just wearing a Jets hat. And you picked out a series of hats. Tio ended up picking the one out from the group, and bing, boom, bam, that is the hat that's heading over to old BMAC there.
Well, good deal. I'm glad Tio helped, because Tio is always fresh. Look, I wear hats every now and then, but I thought you and Tio are the hat people. So I'm like, I'll pick from this assortment that I've got you, and he'll be fine. BMAC's going to be looking good. I'm just telling you.
Better than he ever has. I can't wait.
Well,
thanks, Brandon.
Thanks. Bye.
Appreciate you. We'll see you. Beautiful. Also, I see Hennessy in here. It's good to see Hennessy back in the chat. Sauce dropped to third because one of the voters left him off of his list. Yes, not in the top 10. Not just one, Hennessy. Multiple high-ranking NFL personnel executives, according to Fowler, left him off the top 10. What the flying beep? I don't know. Anywho, back to the phone lines. We got Hep here on the show. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Paul. Hey, man, if Brandon's an antique, man, I'm a fossil. You're talking about video games. My video game was a piece of vibrating metal with a little felt ball that you sit and go, that was my football game growing up. You guys forget it. I got underwear older than you guys. Damn.
Antiques.
Yeah. And as far as Sauce goes, we know who he is, man. We've already seen. We know what the story is. This is all clickbait. Sauce has been going down as probably one of the best Jets we've ever had.
Yeah, I mean, he is on. People talk about the Revis stuff. This is just truth. Sauce is further along than Revis was through 2 years. First team All-Pro both years. Revis was not that. But again, Revis became very good. The 2009 season, one of the greatest defensive seasons we've ever seen. So it's incredible.
The other thing, but with Sauce, he has the character, I think, edge on Revis.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's more of a team guy, you know. I mean, I love Revis. I mean, he just was him and Rex Ryan together were just a riot, you know. Mm-hmm. It was almost like Rex created the monster, you know.
Really, that's a good way to put it because, right, every opportunity, the greatest of all time, the best corner in the game. And how could Revis not go, yeah, I am. And maybe I've never heard someone say that before, but you know what? You might be right, Hep, that he was the monster that created it. And the great test, by the way, to see, we talk about Revis and kind of being a dick and everything, all the holdouts and everything, the hard knocks and all that stuff that happened. Sauce is eligible to be paid next year. Does Sauce change? Because we've seen a lot of media from Sauce. All of a sudden, when he's eligible to be paid, does he turn into a different person? Or is he the same person we've seen through the first 2 years? That's going to be a great temperature check on Sauce Gardner.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul. I'll see you on the rebound.
Appreciate that. Hep joining us here on the program. Beautiful. And again, you guys can join us on the phone line. Just call into that top comment on youtube.com/boygreen25. You know, when someone brought up Jordan Travis and the Florida State Seminole light went out into the sky, that Ricky New York Live would soon be behind it. Let's bring him on the show. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, what's up, man? It's Jordan Travis.
Did you put that on after you heard him? You're like, oh man, let me go grab that Jordan Travis shirt.
No, I already had it on, and when EZ was on, and when he started talking, I was like, oh, that's appropriate. At any rate, back when, first of all, I can't blame Rex for creating that monster because, I mean, right when we drafted him, he didn't sign right away because him and his jackass uncle were up to their tricks right from the beginning. I think Revis was always Revis in that respect, and then he became the Revis that we know, but. Correct me if I'm wrong. When he was having that great year, and us Jets fans were telling everybody that he was the best because he did travel, he would follow number one receivers anywhere and shut everybody down. The Richard Sherman supporters were telling us that didn't matter.
Right.
But now all of a sudden it does matter. It's like it's opposite day when it comes to the Jets and the media. Whatever we do, the other way is going to be the better way.
Yeah, it seems that way.
But you know what? Let me tell you what. I can tell you why Sauce is the best right now. If you look at from his rookie year to now, his rookie year was very good. But you know what? There were a couple of maybe little bumps in the road, but he never repeated that same mistake twice. And that's one thing that I really like about him. Now, Denzel Ward, I remember whenever Corey Davis touchdown. From now until forever. That was a great route that Corey Davis set him up with on that play. But Corey Davis knew to do that because the Panthers had done it to Denzel Ward the week before. So he got burned by the same play 2 weeks in a row. I'm sorry, I don't see Sauce giving up a play like that on 1 week, let alone back-to-back weeks. So that's all I have to say about that. That's absolutely ridiculous. And Surtain is PS2. Well, Sauce must be like Xbox 360 or something then, because I see quite a bit of difference there. And nothing against Surtain. He's a very good player. And, his dad's our DB coach at Florida State.
Yeah.
And he's doing a fantastic job with those kids down there. So I mean, I got nothing against them, but you know what? Like, if Surtain gave up 1 touchdown all year, he gave up more than Sauce did. So, yep. I mean, what are we talking about here? Come on.
It's sad. It's sad. But Ricky, before you go, Brandon asked, how much for that signed Curtis Martin picture? Is it for sale?
No, because that's actually personalized. It's not just signed. It's signed to me. And yeah, that's
sorry, Brandon.
My prized possession there.
Yeah. Sorry, Brandon. Nice try, but I don't blame you for trying because it's a beautiful picture. But and it has a great story with it too.
Yes. Yeah, that one's not going anywhere. You know what? One day I was on Connor Long's show, and I don't know. He was doing something, and he was like, "Oh, Ricky, you're the winner." And I'm like, "Of what?" Like I just got there. I had no idea what was going on, but I won like a signed Wesley Walker picture.
Wow,
and,
nice.
But instead of accepting it, I decided to give it to one of our other chat members, and since he was a little bit before my time, so I ended up just re-gifting my gift to Snowball.
Wow, what a guy. That's very nice of you. I'm sure Brandon is hoping that you reconsider that for your Curtis Martin picture there, and you just re-gift that. But yes, I love that. That's very nice of you.
Not this one, but sometimes when stuff does come my way, a lot of times I will just redirect it. Like last year, I got some tickets, that someone was going to give me, and I couldn't make it up to go to the game. And so I gave it to a buddy of mine so he could take his son. And I was like, you know what? I want somebody with kids to get it.
Yeah.
So, they can take their kid to the game.
That's so cool.
All right, man. Yeah, sorry, Brandon. This guy's not going anywhere.
Hey, Brandon, I can respect the attempt, but excellent. Yeah. And Ricky, way to defend home court. I know you're a nice guy, but I'm glad that you don't bend. That's a nice piece of merch right there.
Yeah. I got to draw my line in the sand right there, but A for effort.
A for effort, Brandon.
Can't
appreciate it.
Trying.
Thanks, Ricky.
All
right, beautiful. Ricky calling into the show again. Any of you guys can call into the show. That is the pinned comment on YouTube. We have 400 people in the room, guys. Like the video, hit subscribe. We're live every single day at 7:30 in the morning. By the way, here's the lineup. Today's Friday. Tomorrow, my father comes on. We've got a juicy show. You're going to love that one. Some Hop on Pop. And also, keep an eye on the merch store. That's always in the YouTube description down below. We're working on a new piece of merch with me and my father. A T-shirt combination. Maybe we'll put that on mugs too, but keep an eye out for that. I'm working on that design behind the scenes, but we should have a Hop on Pop thing for the people that love or hate him. And then on Sunday, DKB returns to the program, so I'm looking forward to him popping up on the show on Sunday. So again, a guest-filled show over the weekend. We'll have my father on for Hop on Pop on Saturday, and then DKB on Sunday. I know you guys love that guy, and so do I. He's been spectacular. So I'd love to make that connection. Thank you, everybody, by the way, or whoever. I can't even remember who it was. Someone put me on to DKB because they emailed me and said, you got to have this guy on the show. And then bing, boom, bam, we've had him on the show, and he's come a lot, which is really cool. Let me do the dream thing before we get out of here. Plus, keep those memberships flowing, baby. We're very close. Let me double check right now. We're very close to another unlocking of emojis on the channel. So let me see here. Let me see what we're at. Let me go. Let me check the numbers here. 1 second. Beep, boop, up. How close are we? Okay, to a new member. Emoji being unlocked. Okay. Right, we're 5 away. So, okay, we're 5 memberships away from another group of emojis being unlocked. So, if that can happen during this show, awesome. Again, 5 Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Coffee Club memberships away, baby, from another emoji unlock. So, if we could get that before the end of the show, that'd be spectacular. As we're waiting for any of that action to happen, I do also want to get to Jared B's special teams for the Dream Team. Kicker, punter, 2 returners, 1 long snapper. Good Lord. This is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. We have elite special teams right now, which are spectacular. There's no doubt about it. They're absolutely wonderful. With Thomas Morstead, Zerline, Thomas Hennessy is a wonderful long snapper. We've had terrific returners in our history. Off the top of the dome, Leon Washington, one of my favorites. Brad Smith. Antonio Cromartie won't make the returner list, but a shout out to him for the playoff game against the Colts. Oh, wow. There you go from T.O. Make it rain, baby. We've got the 5. Real quick, let's do it. And isn't it funny? He just returned to the show. Hennessy Heisman is now a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. OG Jets fan 1985. Seth Martinez, D Van G, and Happy Tanking, hopefully no more tanking anymore, are all now members of the Boy Green Coffee Club. We've now unlocked a new wave of emojis because for YouTube, you have to reach certain members to get more emojis and things of that nature. As I'm learning that we've dove into the deep end of this pool. Shout out to Uncle Tio, the 411, which, by the way, it's a Friday. His show's coming up actually later tonight at 6 o'clock with our boy Johnny. And make sure you guys check it out on his channel. We have now unlocked it. So Tio is absolutely the man. All you guys are saying it. He's giving us the 411. Again, this, by the way, for those who didn't recognize the change, this is Uncle Tio, a.k.a. VR, here on the show that has changed his handle to the 411 on New York Sports. They have their Friday night show on all things New York sports every Friday night at 6 o'clock. So a wonderful plug and well-deserved. And thank you for the chimes, baby. All right, that is some more work for Snowball, as I've sent him a bunch of emoji ideas at like 4 a.m. this morning of different things we could put together. So, Tio, thank you for the gift, brother. That is spectacular. And we've now reached a new level of emoji. So keep an eye out for those. I have a lot of ideas behind the scenes of those that will come up. So shout out to Tio, to 411 tonight at 6 o'clock with him and Johnny. And I'll be meeting Tio and Johnny for the very first time at the Jets-Patriots game. That is 2 months. How about that? It's 2 months from today. It's Jets-Patriots Week 3 home opener. I don't want to rush your training camp. I enjoy training camp. Enjoy the preseason. I can't wait for that Jets-Patriots. I was talking to Woody yesterday. I can't wait. But 2 months from today is Jets-Patriots, the home opener. Thank you, Tio, for that. And again, keep an eye out for all the new emojis, which, by the way, are available for all you guys. You can check out what's already here real quick. And here's a bunch of the emojis before I finish off here with Jared. We got the Elroy Banana emoji, the Boy Green emoji from the Twitter diehards, Zoinks, Brian Bananas, Family Guy, the coffee mug, the Rich Eisen phone. I will never live that one down. Sweet, passionate lovemaking, which is somewhat disturbing, but that gives it its charm. And finally, shout out to Snowball himself for the Snowball New York Jet emoji, and give Snowball all the love. He is the creator of all of those emojis and putting them together. So a major shout out to Snowball for putting all that together. He's one of the best in the business. Abso-freaking-lutely. All right, so Paul, special teams, dream team, kicker, punter, 2 returners, 1 long snapper. This is tough. Let me see here. Let me make sure I don't miss anyone because I would hate to miss someone in the moment. Let me make sure I pull up the stat list here so we don't miss anybody here. But there's a lot of wonderful players in New York Jets history that certainly deserve love here. So again, guys off the top, I loved Leon Washington. Brad Smith was another I really loved. Also, I'll just give a shout out, like in this grouping. I know that it's not on the list of things. We have kicker, punter, 2 returners, and a long snapper. We don't have gunners, but I would, Rontez Miles is one of my favorites. James Ahedebo was one of my favorites as well. So I'll throw a couple of Nick Bellore, who's still in the NFL right now. Wallace Wright. There's a bunch of those kind of gunner and other key Eric Smith of special team guys from the past. So I love that as well. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Who deserves to be on our all-time special teams unit with kickers, punters, returners, and all of that jazz? Let me see here. So Pat Leahy would be a choice, obviously, at kicker. He would make a lot of sense. Tom Tupa. He had a small run with the Jets, 99 to 2001. Pat Leahy was here forever. So I think for kicker, we have to go Pat Leahy, 1974 through 1991. I think we got to go Pat Leahy for our kicker. Let's put him on the list. Go Pat Leahy. By the way, another RIP, Joe McKnight for his return ability. Absolutely has to be in our consideration for sure. So Pat Leahy is our kicker, no doubt about it. And yeah, if we're including Tom Tupa in the conversation, I'm going to just go with Thomas Morstead as my punter. I love Thomas. I know his run has been very short here with the Jets, only a handful of years, but Tom Tupa's was also only a handful of years. Give me Thomas Morstead. Love him. Another returner option, Bruce Harper, spectacular. He would be another great choice. Justin Miller, I loved. Unbelievable return, man. Oh, boy, this is tough. Johnny Morton, that's another great nugget there. Nick Folk, I forgot about that one. Brandon Bradshaw, that's very nice. Oh, boy. Okay, returners. Okay, we got our kicker and punter. 2 returners, 1 long snapper. Okay, returners. I got to go Leon Washington. One of the greats, incredibly intelligent. He made big plays. Leon Washington has to be in there as one of our returners. There's just no question about it. He's absolutely great. It's hard to go away from Bruce Harper, to be honest with you. He just had a spectacular. I'm going to go Bruce Harper. He's the other one. Okay, Leon Washington and Bruce Harper. Bruce Harper with the Jets from 77 to 84. Those are my 2 returners. Leon Washington, Bruce Harper. But there's a lot of guys that just missed the list. Joe McKnight, Brad Smith, Justin Miller was another one of my favorites. It's a tough list. It's a tough list to crack. Absolutely, it's a tough list. Now, long snapper. Aaron Glenn, did he return kicks a little, Darren? That one I can't remember. I didn't know if Aaron Glenn did some of that. That one escapes me. Jim Leonard is another good special teamer. I'm not sure how much. I remember him on a couple of punt returns, I think. Long snapper. Boy, now we're getting. Let's see if I can even come up with a. Thomas Hennessy is fantastic. He's the longest tenured Jet. He might be our option here, but let me see if there's anyone else I'm missing here on long snappers. Yeah, I'm going to the best long snappers of all time from Pro Football Reference. We'll see if there's any Jets on the list. Okay, it was a Bears draft pick in the 60s. We got a guy down there. Okay, 92. I'm just trying to see if I'm missing any old guy that I don't have here on the list. Okay, I don't think so as I'm scrolling through this. So I'm going to, there's the magician. That was for the Eagles, not the Jets. Yeah, I'm going to go Thomas Hennessy. Yeah, there you go. I'm just going to, Thomas is our longest tenured Jet on the team. I think he's been here since 2017. He's spectacular. And Brant Boyer recently talked him up as one of the best long snappers he's been around. So you know what? There it is. Pat Leahy, our kicker. Thomas Morstead, our punter. Our 2 returners, Leon Washington, Bruce Harper, and then our long snapper, booyah, Thomas Hennessy. Spectacular. I've really enjoyed putting this list together. So shout out to Jared B., who's our moderator in the chat. Plus, he is the king of our Discord, which again, guys, I will be, stay tuned on YouTube. We'll be reaching out about the Discord and you guys joining it and us putting those pieces together. So that will be another perk. Again, if you remember the Boy Green Coffee Club, like the 5 new members that joined today, or 6 new members, because I think we also had a singular edition as well. But either way, all of the new YouTube Super Chat members, which again is the Boy Green Coffee Club, you will have access to the Discord here very shortly. Stay tuned to the YouTube community channel. And also I'll try to see if I can reach out to you guys individually as well to provide you some of those links. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Phenomenal show. Also, if you missed it, you guys can probably, that'll be coming out soon. I was on WGR 550 radio in Buffalo. That's the official station of the Buffalo Bills. They had me on for like 25 minutes talking Jets, previewing Jets training camp. You guys can check that out. I had Jake Asman on the show yesterday. Boy Green meets Woody. We had Connor Rogers on the show yesterday. Again, the show's been friggin' loaded, baby. So make sure you guys check out all of those juicy gosh darn deets. Okay, we're everywhere. YouTube.com /BoyGreen25. Guys, like the video, hit subscribe. And then this weekend, my father, Hop on Pop tomorrow, Sunday, DKB. He'll be joining us on the show as well. Can't wait. God bless. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Take care.